Thank you for your interest in boosting blood to donors and donations from Christians in Ottawa. I started donating in the fall of 1999, and I made that commitment in response to strong sense of gratitude to God for being with my wife Margo through a serious medical crisis. Came upon us suddenly one Saturday morning. She said her leg was stiff, and within half an hour, she was clearly in a lot of pain and distress. When I looked at her leg and touched it, I realized it was not like some sports injuries I've had. It's not a sprain or muscle pull. Her leg was as hot as if she'd sat too close to a campfire. So I figured that must be an infection, and indeed it was, and it was getting worse really fast. I called her dad, who's a doctor, and he knew we lived in the country in New Brunswick at this time, and he said, "Are you at home?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Get her to the hospital as fast as you can." And I said, "Do you mean like driving legal fast or illegal fast?" And he said, "Illegal fast, as long as it's safe," because time was of the essence. And he called ahead to let them know that we were coming. And it was really the nick of time, because by the time we got in to emerge, her veins were collapsing. It was really a dire situation. So the next few days were an incredible battle. Each day, the infection moved up her leg from her knee. The nurses would draw lines and mark the time with a pen to show its advance to the doctors. And fighting it was a multidisciplinary team of specialists, the best antibiotics available, and prayer from people around the world connected to our families. Sometimes she was lucid through this, and other times she was hallucinatory or incoherent because of the painkillers and morphine that she was on. So the medical team communicated with me. I was warned she could lose her leg. I was warned she could lose her life. I had to give the medical team permission to take her leg if that's what they needed to do to save her life. There were 3 long surgeries, and those surgeries and the team's medical skill and those antibiotics and prayer saw us through the crisis. I prayed through that time with a desperation and a need I've never felt before, or frankly since. I would not bargain with our holy God, but I would make a pledge with him on my knees. And I did. "Save her," I said, "and I will donate blood the rest of my life." So I'm at donation 87. There was one stretch when the hours of my work and where I worked, I was not that regular for 3 or 4 years, but I was regular before that and since then. So Margo was saved, and so was her beautiful leg. And when I met Ed with his infectious enthusiasm for this cause, I thought, yes, I would be happy to share my story. Sometimes this story comes up when I'm donating. You know, you chat with the people in the on the gurney next to you, and sometimes donors tell their stories, and some have stories more dramatic than my own and Margo's own. But you don't need an experience with the medical system or a crisis. That's the thing. In fact, I'm almost embarrassed that I needed one to get off my fanny and donate. I always thought it would be a good thing to do, and it was on that list of things I would get around to. And then I was shaken up, and I got around to it. So you just need the will and commitment, and I'm glad I've kept my commitment. And I've never regretted it. I recommend it to people who need to know more about it when it comes up in conversation. And when Ed mentioned this initiative, it seems so natural that Christians should be doing this and should be known to be doing this. Christians give time, talent, tithe, all in gratitude. That's where it comes from. And I don't see why we can't add blood to that list. Donating is easy, efficient. The staff are friendly. I love the new app. I have a lot of respect for Canadian Blood Services. I think they do a really, really good job. It's another way to give, and it's a way to give that's also another way to save a life. So thank you for hearing me out, and I wish you all the best in all your efforts.